September 7th, 2012. Chapel Hill, North Carolina. A 911 call comes in just after 11 a.m. The caller's voice is strange, not panicked, not screaming, almost rehearsed. Inside a small student apartment, police find 19-year-old Faith Hedgepeth beaten to death, a rum bottle beside her body, and a handwritten note, cryptic, chilling, placed deliberately near her head. No forced entry, no screams heard by neighbors, no clear motive, just a bright, ambitious college student, gone. For nearly a decade, this case went cold. The internet exploded with theories. Police stayed silent. And then, in 2021, an arrest was made. But instead of answers, more questions emerged. Was it a stranger who slipped through an unlocked door? Or was it someone Faith knew, someone who was there that night? And what about that 911 call? This is the story of Faith Hedgepeth and the chilling mystery that refuses to die. Chapel Hill, North Carolina, home to the University of North Carolina, a picture-perfect college town, safe, quiet, the kind of place where parents send their kids without a second thought. Faith Danielle Hedgepeth was 19 years old, a junior at UNC, a proud member of the Halawa-Saponi tribe, a first-generation college student with big dreams. Her friends described her as magnetic, warm, driven, the kind of person who lit up a room. She was studying biology. She wanted to become a pediatrician. She wanted to help people. In the fall of 2012, Faith was living off campus, a small two-bedroom apartment at Hawthorne at the View. She shared it with her close friend and roommate, Karina Rosario. The apartment was typical student housing. Thin walls, beige carpet, mismatched furniture, nothing fancy, but it was home. September 6th, 2012, a Thursday night. Faith and Karina had plans. First, a sorority rush event. Then, a night out at a local club. Around 11:30 p.m., they arrived at The Thrill, a popular student nightclub. Security cameras caught them entering, smiling, dancing, drinking. Just two college kids having a normal night out. At 2:30 a.m., Faith and Karina left together. Cameras confirmed it. Witnesses saw them leave. They returned to their apartment shortly after. By 3 a.m., they were home. Neighbors heard some movement, nothing alarming. Just the sounds of two roommates settling in after a late night. 3 a.m. The last confirmed time Faith Hedgepeth was alive. What happened next is where the nightmare begins. In the next few hours, something horrific occurred in that small bedroom. A brutal, violent attack. And by sunrise, Faith was dead. Let's break down exactly what we know, minute by minute, because the devil is in the details. 3 a.m. Faith is in her bedroom. Karina is in the apartment. Everything seems normal. Around 4 a.m., a friend named Jordan McCrary arrives. He's there to pick up Karina. Later, Jordan would tell police something strange. He noticed a red stain on Karina's finger. He also said she seemed upset, noticeably shaken. Karina leaves with Jordan. She later claims she left Faith alone in the apartment, asleep, safe. At least, that's the story. Between 4:30 a.m. and late morning, Faith stops responding to texts, stops answering calls. But after a night out, that's not unusual. No one panics. Not yet. Around 11 a.m., Karina returns. She's with a male friend. Some reports say a neighbor. They unlock the front door. No sign of forced entry. Everything looks normal until they open the bedroom door. Faith's body is on the floor, partially undressed, blood everywhere. The bedding is torn apart. A Bacardi rum bottle lies next to her. And there, propped against the wall, a fast food bag with handwritten words scrawled on it. The note is cryptic, ominous. Some believe it was written by the killer. Others think it's a message, a threat, a taunt, or something worse. The exact words have never been fully released. At 11:01 a.m., Karina calls 911, and this is where things get weird. I think my friend is... She's not moving. There's blood everywhere. I just got home. I don't know what happened. Please, just send someone. People who listened to the call noticed something off. The pauses, the lack of clear panic, the way she answers questions, controlled, almost detached. One reporter, Tom Gasparoli, called it all sorts of weird, and the internet agreed. Within minutes, police arrive. The apartment is sealed off. Forensic teams swarm the scene, and what they find is both damning and confusing. The Bacardi bottle is covered in fingerprints and DNA. It's clearly the murder weapon. Faith's injuries are consistent with repeated blunt force trauma. She fought back. DNA is found under her fingernails, on her body, on surfaces around the room. The autopsy confirms what investigators suspected. Faith was beaten to death. Severely. The attack was brutal, prolonged, personal. But here's the problem. There's no sign of forced entry. The door wasn't kicked in. The locks weren't broken. So, how did the killer get in? 3 possibilities. The door was left unlocked. The killer had a key. Or the killer was invited in. Someone Faith knew. In the days and weeks that follow, Chapel Hill police interview dozens of people. Friends, ex-boyfriends, male acquaintances. DNA samples are collected, compared. None of them match. The DNA from the scene doesn't match anyone in the system. The investigation stalls. Months turn into years. No arrests, no answers, just silence. Faith's family begs for answers. Her friends organize vigils. The case becomes a local tragedy. And then, it fades from the headlines. Nothing. The case goes cold. And then, in September 2021, almost 9 years to the day, police make an arrest. Miguel Enrique Salguero-Olivares. His DNA matches the samples from the crime scene, the bottle, Faith's body, the room. It's him. Case closed, right? Not quite. Because the more you look at this arrest, the more questions it raises. Let's talk about what doesn't add up. First, who is Miguel Salguero-Olivares? According to police, he's a stranger. He had no known connection to Faith, no mutual friends, no social media interaction, nothing. So how did he know where she lived? How did he know she was home alone? How did he get inside? Remember, no forced entry. If Miguel was a stranger, why would Faith or Karina leave the door unlocked in a college town at 4 a.m.? Police say the DNA evidence is conclusive. Miguel's DNA is on the bottle, on Faith's body, in the room. But DNA doesn't explain motive. It doesn't explain opportunity. And this is where the internet exploded. Because for years, online sleuths have focused on someone else. Someone much closer to Faith. Karina Rosario, Faith's roommate, her close friend. One of the last people to see her alive. And the person who made that strange 911 call. Let's revisit that call. I just got home. But Karina had been there earlier, around 3 a.m. I don't know what happened, but she left at 4 a.m., just an hour after arriving home with Faith. So what happened in that 1-hour window, between 3 and 4 a.m.? Karina claims Faith was asleep when she left, but Jordan saw a red stain on her finger. Jordan described it as a red stain. Karina said it was makeup or a drink spill, but what if it wasn't? And then there's the note, written in ballpoint pen on a fast food bag. Some believe it was written by the killer, but others think it sounds personal. Like it came from someone who knew Faith, someone who was angry. Online theorists believe Karina knows more than she's admitted. Maybe she wasn't involved directly, but maybe she knows who was. Maybe she's protecting someone. But here's the thing. Karina has never been charged. She's never been named as a suspect. And Miguel's DNA is undeniable. So the question becomes, is Miguel the sole perpetrator, or was someone else involved? Someone who's still walking free? Here's one theory. Faith was attacked by someone she knew. A confrontation, a fight. Maybe about jealousy, secrets, or betrayal. The attack escalates. It becomes violent, fatal. The scene is staged to look like a break-in. The note is written to misdirect police. And Miguel, maybe his DNA was there for a different reason. An earlier visit, a party, a coincidence. Or maybe he was there, but not alone. The official story is clean. Miguel Salguero-Olivares is the killer. DNA proves it. Case closed. But Faith's family and friends say they still have questions about the timeline, about the note, about how a stranger could commit such a personal, brutal crime. And Chapel Hill Police. They've released very little. Autopsy details remain sealed. Forensic reports are classified. The public has been left to fill in the blanks. And when you leave blanks, people fill them with theories. Some reasonable, some wild, but all born from the same frustration. We don't have the full story. Faith Hedgepeth was 19 years old. She had her whole life ahead of her. She wanted to help children. She wanted to make a difference. She was a daughter, a friend, a member of her community. She was loved, and she was taken in the worst way imaginable. Miguel Salguero-Olivares awaits trial. When that day comes, maybe we'll finally get answers. Maybe the prosecution will connect the dots. Maybe we'll understand how and why this happened. Or maybe we won't. Maybe this case will remain a puzzle with missing pieces, a tragedy with too many questions. Because the truth is, some mysteries don't have clean endings. Some crimes are solved on paper, but the real story, that stays buried. Faith Hedgepeth deserved better. She deserved to graduate, to become a doctor, to live. So what do you think? Is Miguel the lone killer? Or is there more to this story? Was the 911 call just shock and trauma? Or something else? The DNA is undeniable. But DNA doesn't tell the whole story. It doesn't explain motive, opportunity, or the eerie details that just don't fit. Let me know your theory in the comments. What do you think happened between 3 and 4 a.m.? Who wrote the note? And why did it take 9 years to make an arrest? If you want more deep dives into unsolved cases and true crime mysteries, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We're not stopping until we uncover the truth. Rest in peace, Faith. Your story will not be forgotten.